Oh gosh, immeasurably. I constantly go back to my roots. In an introduction to creative writing class, everything is the basics. Story is, there's got to be a character. There has to be a character with dimension. The character has to be created in a way that's rich enough that the actions the character performs and the motivations of the character are rooted in that character. The dialogue then has to be appropriate to the character. Something must happen for the story to move along. And then as we move up the ladder into more advanced classes, then we start to get to issues like the craft becomes every bit as important. What are the choices of endings? And I do in my classes a fair amount of focus on craft lectures and craft essays we read, and also some critical theory in the upper division classes. I'm really attracted to short fiction theory. And so I give them this really dense piece on like closural techniques by some guy from Denmark who's been studying this stuff. And it's amazing. There's 14 or 15 ways you can end a short work of fiction. And they're all going, wow, really? It's like, yeah. So pick one and write and make that happen. As I'm constantly suggesting ways for students to stretch endings of stories, that's the kind of thing that I bring into it. I think I'll look at my work and go, a lot of these are ending the same way. What are my options? Or I'll get the first draft done and think, there, that feels right. But then I think, but maybe it feels right because it's predictable. Maybe I should be looking at a way to go to not end there. Maybe the plot ends there, but can the story take it further? Or to apply Raymond Carver's adage that, how does he say? He said sometimes the story has to answer itself. And when you use those open endings, well, they have to do that. You can't just stop the action. You have to put enough pieces in play that the reader can gather up the pieces from the story and conclude it themselves after it's over. And so I look at that and I'm teaching that and going, where's that in my work? Where's that in my work? We say, first idea isn't best idea. And I promote the idea that first form isn't the best form. And as students move across genres and classes, I do the same thing. I write a piece that maybe comes to me as a poem, and then I'll maybe collapse it to a prose poem to see if it wants to be that. And then when I look at it, I go, wow, this is so prosy of a prose poem. Maybe I want to push this over the boundary intentionally and move it into a microfiction. Or maybe the prose poem that I move it to suggests another prose poem, and now I either have a sequence of prose poems, or maybe I can collage those into a lyric essay. And so I think the idea that the more genres we work in, the more it allows us not to just write in genres, but to discover what each of those genres allows us to say we haven't been able to say in the other genres. And that constant search for what's in the next room, what's around the corner, what's in the next genre is, I think, for some writers, man, that's the electric buzz.